Anish ka yuhat dusak, tlinkit, tlena, ach dakla wedi, ayahat, ach ish, ahutsnu kwan, yasati, gunishish. My name is James Johnson. I'm Tlingit Indian from Southeast Alaska. I belong to the Daklawedi clan, which is the killer whale clan. My family lineage is from the Hutsunu-Kwan, which is Angoon, Alaska. And I'm a Tlingit artist and carver.
What's up? I'm Portugal the Man from the Matanuska-Susitna Valley of Alaska, and we're hanging out with James Johnson, partnering with Teton Gravity Research.
The art form that I do goes back thousands of years. My ancestors created this art form that you see visually. And there's not even a word for art in our language. You know, what I do was completely integrated as part of our culture and our way of life. Traditionally, like our Tlingit people lived in this really incredible balance. They were in tune with each other, in tune with the animals, in tune with the environment, and it was all connected. Traditional Tlingit origin story of Raven, the world was in darkness, and Raven was all white at this time. And he knew there was an old man in the Nass River that contained the sun, moon, and stars that were being kept in bentwood boxes for himself. And so Raven had the ability to transform into anything that he wanted. So he transformed into a pine needle and floated down the Nass River. And the old man's daughter went to collect water, and she scooped it up, the pine needle. That was Raven, and drank it. And the daughter became pregnant and gave birth to a son, which was really Raven. And Raven knew that those boxes contained the sun, moon, and stars on the shelf. And so he'd cry and cry and cry for them. And the old man, to appease his grandson, he gave him the box that contained the moon in it. And Raven got it and flipped it over, and the lid came off, and the moon rolled out and flew up through the smoke hole into the sky. And Raven began crying again. He started crying for the box that contained the stars. And so the old man gave him that box, and he got it and flipped it over, and the lid came off, and the stars shot out and went into the sky. And so Raven began crying again, lastly for the box that contained the sun. And so the old man gave him that box, and again Raven knocked off the lid, and the sun rolled out. And then Raven transformed back into bird form and took the sun in his beak and flew up through the smoke hole. And Raven was all white at this time, but the soot from the smoke hole is what turned Raven black that you see today. And Raven took the sun into the sky and released it, and that's what brought light onto the world. With Raven, he was also capable of this incredible transformation. And so the artwork that I did for this collaboration features Raven Child, which is called Yesh Lady. And that depicts transformation on one hand that I told you, where Raven can exist in these two worlds simultaneously and transfer in and out of each one.
The thing that connected me the most with James was not only is there this like appreciation for this like, well, we're both kind of wild, like we would like to get out and snowboard and do this stuff, but his appreciation for and kind of continuation of like his culture and just the way he speaks about the culture and the history, and I mean he is such an amazing person.
Which is Raven Child. It also depicts a period of time in our culture where Indigenous children were taken from their families during colonization of Alaska, and they're stripped of their culture and heritage. And so Raven Child represents that time period of our people lose these children that had lost their culture and was taken from them. And acknowledging that history of what really happened to people on the Northwest Coast. You know, everything that could have been done was done to destroy our culture and our way of life. There's a really strong message there that goes along with it. And it's honoring the past, but it's also promoting healing our past and moving forward with it and acknowledging Indigenous children. And so these days, you know, we have these broken pieces that are left over, and we're picking them up and we're putting it back together the best way we know how to carry it forward as a Northwest Coast artist, as a Tlingit artist, you know, we have this bigger responsibility on our shoulders than just trying to create something that's beautiful. We're carrying along this tradition, you know, this tradition that goes back thousands of years before me. Everyone's looking for their real purpose in life, like what are we meant to do? And like this is exactly what I'm meant to do with my life. And I've dedicated my whole life to this.
Indigenous knowledge, that is the way forward, that is the future. And it's all based on knowledge that's been here for thousands of years.